Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. How are you, Favor?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing?
I'm fine. How is work?
Work is fine.
Work is not fine.
Work is
He's
fine.
lying.
We just have to put our smiley faces every time. So
Right?
work is fine.
Okay, so Jen sent something to the group on Sunday. Oh, I think I did actually on Sunday about like fraud awareness week.
Yeah,
And I
that's right.
feel like we should talk about that because when I
Right.
checked the charts of like top countries that scams a lot, Nigeria was kind of listed as number seven, and there's this stigma attached to Nigerians too. Like when we go anywhere, like abroad,
Right.
especially, they kind of look at us like, oh, these OG scammers, even if we're not like
Yes. Yes.
the
And
top on
and
the chart.
and it's funny how like we Nigerians ourselves we are very susceptible to like falling for
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
I
So
feel like we should be actually the chat we're supposed to be topping is like we get scammed the most, not like we scam people the most.
I don't
But
believe we
then,
belong on any of those charts, but
but then,
uh,
okay, no wahala. Oh, I forgot to introduce myself. My name is Halima Bakari, and I'm the content manager for Set
okay.
or Security Technologies.
Yes.
So, Favor, what are some things you feel like our listeners should know about like fraud? Like, what should they be aware about? I mean, at the end of the day, it's like the fraud awareness week.
Okay, thank you very much. You mentioned that we can just have a little discussion, but I really hope the discussion
Little,
can be little
because
because
it's a very
there are
broad
a few
topic.
there are just a few things I would like to touch on, and I'll just start with like a brief explanation or like a definition of what fraud is.
Okay.
So according to the Financial Crime Academy, fraud is like why am I saying like fraud is an intentional, withholding of important information or provision of false statements to another party, that's another person, in order to obtain something that would not have been provided without deception. What does that mean? All the
So
jargons I've been reading, it just basically means that
somebody should
fraud.
invade your privacy.
Yes, fraud usually occurs when there are two different types of misrepresentations that occur for
Okay.
fraud to happen. It's either they withhold information or they give you false information. That is when someone is trying to pitch something to you or introduce you or to something or tell you about something, they withhold some of the information. They don't give you the full fact.
So basically, they are tricking you,
Yes, they don't give you the full fact or they give you something different entirely.
or
Yeah.
they're just liars.
Yes, yes,
They're just liars.
exactly.
So yeah. So I feel like there are popular ones, especially let's focus on Nigeria right now because I feel like the majority of our listeners will be from Nigeria. Like there are major type of scams or
Yeah, the
fraud,
common
let's say
ones.
fraud
Yeah,
that people fall for in Nigeria. I
yeah.
know the Ponzi schemes, the M&M, the Bromley Lantern. I am aware of those. I mean, there was even one year I fell victim for one. I think it was Tradera. I don't know if anybody like did Tradera in
Uh oh, uh oh,
2020. I also fell victim,
uh
you
oh.
guys. So, like, are there others you'd want our listeners to know about?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really go beyond. I mean, it does, but then in order for our discussion again to remain
Yeah.
little, I'll just touch on like the common type of scams and frauds or fraudulent activities that occur. So let me start with the e-commerce or card frauds. This is very very common. In fact, if not the most common type of fraud in Nigeria that we have today. And it's usually carried out by phishing and spoofing. What do I mean by that? It's basically an engineering act or an act of deception whereby
Yeah.
these scammers will send either a fake email or fake messages pretending to be either your bank or an organization, a legit organization, to unsuspecting members. So, for example, I can pose to be Zenith Bank and then I'll send you an email pretending to be Zenith Bank. You know. So what they just do is they just try to seek your sensitive information, perhaps your bank details, your login details and all that stuff. They
Yeah.
usually they usually add this. Basically, what they do is they send fake emails or fake messages requiring your information, your bank details, and your personal information.
I feel
Basically,
like I know about that.
yes,
Or would that fall under like phishing? The
yes,
one where like someone calls you and they're like maybe they mistakenly transferred money to your account and they tell you to transfer it back to them, or they
yes,
call you and they say you should click on a link or something like that, and
yes,
not automatically
yes.
your money like gets out
Yeah,
of your bank.
yes. And the funny thing is, one of the new tactics they employ nowadays is that they create look-alike websites.
Yeah,
So if you are not careful, you might fall victim for some of these frauds. They
honestly,
create they create clone websites, and they try to trick you into like putting in your details
yeah, I think
into this fake websites.
yeah,
You
I
know,
think another one is like AI, where people like, you know, I think there is this, I don't know if it's AI it uses, where the scammer is talking to you, like, but you're seeing another person.
yes, I would
Is
actually
that
touch.
identity
I would
theft?
actually touch on that. That's part of the common type of fraudulent activity that we have in
Yeah,
Nigeria today. So I would actually get to that. I want to get to something a little bit more interesting because you
okay,
touched
okay,
on
okay.
that. You know, another one we have is the Ponzi scheme, like you
Yeah.
mentioned. You
Hmm.
know, it's like a
I,
fraudulent
I went
investment.
through a lot.
Can you imagine? It's like a fraudulent investment scheme, that will promise high returns,
Yeah,
high rates to return with little risks for the
yes.
investors,
And
you
most
know.
times you say refer 10 people, refer 20 people, run
Yes,
away.
yes. Basically,
Oh.
it just starts with one person,
Yeah,
the initial recruiter, as some of us would like to
yeah,
call it, who is at the top of the pyramid. It's like a pyramid scheme. So what this person does is that they recruit the second person who is required to like invest,
yeah,
and then possibly a certain amount or a fixed amount, and which is to be paid to the initial recruit, that is to the first person.
yeah.
And in order for you, the second person, to get your money back, you need to bring two or three
Two
more people,
people.
and those people need to bring two or
So
three or
literally
more
you're
people.
just paying yourself with another person's money.
Yes, so that's how it becomes like a pyramid,
Let me
because
It works, but it works for like the people that are like on top of the scheme. But when you're
yes,
below the scheme, you're going to cry fire. So I feel like
yes,
it's a scam through and through, because it's just like, let me see what I'm about to say because it may be very, very controversial, but you know,
yes,
that's it. So
yes,
can we talk about the AI and people
yeah,
pretending to be other
yes.
people and using AI to
Before
alter their
before I touch on that, um, I would like to give like the third and like final example of fraudulent activities that occurs, and how AI is like an influence or a heavy influence on this particular type. It's called identity theft. It's an act, or it's a criminal act basically, of obtaining information about a person, and using such information to commit or abet unlawful activity.
yeah.
So we live in like a day and age, like in an age where information is everywhere. It's very easy for you to find information about a person online, because we share information about
Yes, too
ourselves.
much.
We share a lot of information
Too
about ourselves, our family members, our friends. So it's I wouldn't say, would I say easy or comfortable for criminals to easily obtain personal information about people from a
from
variety of
just
open
from I
sources.
mean, even
Yes.
if you check ChatGPT, I have a business, right? And there was a day I went on ChatGPT and I'm like, oh, can you like tell me a little bit about the Buy Me brand? And the detailed explanation it gave me about like my business made me realize, oh, if I had put myself out there just like my business, which I know some
Yes.
people are even doing more, they're
Yes.
putting themselves out
Yes.
on social media. You can literally get their address,
Yes.
their names, their children names, and everything just by using like, I know
Yes.
like AI has simplified our lives. It's a blessing and it's a curse.
Yes.
So you don't even need to do these scammers or these fraudsters. They don't even need to go online and start doing their due diligence. They will just tell ChatGPT, "Can you search up this so and so person and give me the details you can find on them?" and ChatGPT will give you like a detailed
Well,
biodata of that person.
yes. Well, it depends on how much data or information about this person is out there. But then, like you rightly said, I know it's a hot topic now. The use of AI, it has become, uh, will I say friend or foe now? We are still deciding. But then the use of AI nowadays helps us a lot. It helps everybody, those that want to do good and those that want to do bad.
Mm,
So it assists everybody. So this is the thing. When as it pertains to identity theft, I talked about us leaving much of our information online, for criminals to access easily. Our pictures. There's what we call deepfake. I'm not going to go too much on that because that's not the focus of our topic. But there's this AI tool or phenomenon, or I would like to call it a tool, whereby these scammers or fraudsters make use of a person's picture, and they try to, let's say, morph or merge their face, to fit that person's physical features, and then they present themselves as another person. So, for example, you have a picture on Instagram.
yeah.
I just grab about 5 or 6 of your pictures and then I put it on this AI tool or platform
Yeah.
or website, you know, and then it generates it basically generates your physical features, and then it's easy for me to use those physical features on my face.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult for someone looking at a video, seeing your face, not being able to differentiate or
Yeah. I
distinguish
mean, this
between
is
the two
even very
faces.
common.
And it is becoming, sorry for cutting you
Yeah,
off
yeah,
there,
I get.
and it is becoming very, very, very prevalent in today. And it's a very strong tool for social engineering.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to
The use
say.
of AI.
Yes.
And aside your face, something that has become very, very scary. Many people can use your voice, as in your vocal features, to
Yeah.
mimic the way you
I
talk, the way you
think
sound.
this topic, Baba, is still about what you're talking about, but like for girls mainly, because I see that girls get threatened a lot by nudes that they
Yes,
never did, but
yes,
their faces were altered using
yes,
AI
yes,
with the maybe original person in
yes,
a video, like for sex crimes.
yes.
And this is another fraudulent activity
Activity,
that is really,
yes,
really common that people don't talk about enough because I feel like maybe they're ashamed about it.
yes.
Because they send these videos to these girls, extort money from them, this
Blackmail, yeah,
blackmail that they will post it. And a lot of people would not understand that AI altered it in as much as your face is on whatever they sent and it destroys them.
yeah. So, I mean, like you just pointed out, it does as much harm as good. As how do I put that statement? Uh it does much harm, it does much good to everybody. Like it helps everybody, those that want to use it for good and evil. So I was reading a post recently. It's about a bank in China
Yeah.
where this scammer pretended to be like the CEO of the bank,
Yeah.
with the face, the voice, and everything. So he put one of his staff on video call, and then he instructed that staff to transfer a certain
Money.
amount of money to a particular account. So before, and it was very, very convincing to the extent that the person who initiated that transaction did not even deem it fit to cross check or go over some of their security procedures to confirm or verify and all that stuff. So I see the point you're trying to bring about, AI as a tool for fraud, and it's becoming scary each day. But at the same time, uh, it can also be a tool for the betterment of, if that's the
Okay.
appropriate word
So
to use.
because
So fraud is a good thing that we have like a week or a day or something to highlight this particular thing that is ongoing and that never ends, to raise awareness and to like bring it to the attention of people so that we can understand what is actually going on. You know, Gone are the days where you just put out as much information as you can. Information is the new oil, as someone just
I swear.
spoke to me last week. Information is the new oil, and there's a lot that we can do and undo with our personal information. You know,
Especially if you're
example,
not careful
committing
with
fraud.
it. Yeah.
Yes. So
Okay, so because of time, what are like, if somebody wants to scam me now, how will I know? Earlier this week, I almost got scammed too. This
are
person
you
came and was like,
serious?
"Oh, I paid for a digital marketing course and he wants to teach me about it. But before he teaches me about it, I have to click on a link." And
Are you
truth to be
serious?
told, if I was just waking up when I saw that message, I would have actually clicked on the link without
Wow.
thinking it through. You
Wow.
understand? Because you already said I paid. So in my head, I'm like, "Oh, I paid. Maybe I
Okay.
actually
You
paid for
need,
something that I
yeah,
forgot."
yeah.
So like, how did I like identify the red flag? It was because this guy sent a voice note and he sounded like a drunkard. And I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, Halima, are you really sure you want to learn digital marketing from somebody that sounds like a drunkard?"
You
So
need
that's
to
how
ask.
like I knew,
Yes, that's
oh,
very good.
this might be a scam because I don't even
Yes,
remember paying for any
yes.
digital marketing course.
That's
So how do
that's
people identify like,
that's one of the most important things to do.
yeah.
Always ask questions. Always ask questions.
Hmm.
It's important to ask questions. I like the fact that you even questioned yourself.
Yes.
You needed to ask yourself questions. You can always ask yourself so many questions. You can never uh my mom usually tell me something. You can never be too careful.
Yes,
You
yes.
can
You
never
can
be
never,
too
you can't say it can never be me. That's
yeah.
what I used to say, and I got scammed because
You can never be too careful. I raised so many examples of fraudulent activities that go on. For example, the e-commerce, the card. Why will your bank ask me? Why will your bank ask you to update your account? There are so many things you can ask yourself.
yeah.
Banks and other financial institutions, like
They'll
this,
never. It's
they
not as if your date of birth changed.
so
Did you get?
they will never ask you for this weird personal information at these odd
Yeah,
times. Your bank will never call you on phone to ask you for your card details. Do you understand? They can never call you to ask you for your card detail. So this is an important red flag to look out for. Another thing you can look out for is this sense of urgency that
yes.
they tend to
It's
instill.
true. They're always so fast and they're always
Yes,
angry.
yes.
Honestly, so fast and they
They,
are very. Be
yes.
fast now. Click on the link fast now. Pay the money fast now. You be like,
Yes, they try to instill
yeah,
this sense of like urgency. Oh, it's urgent. You need to do so and so. You know. So they would always try to put this fear that if you don't do so and so,
yeah,
your account is at risk. You need to provide us these details. So one thing people should know, and this is 2024, it will be very sad to find out that some people are still falling for this old trick, whereby they call you on phone and they request for your personal details. You know, you can always find out. You can always contact your bank to be sure. You know, they would never ask you for all these personal information details. And they would always advise. Most banks now, anytime I get a message or like an email from my
yeah,
bank, they will always put it there as a disclaimer that they will advise you that no account on no account will anyone require your personal information. Do you understand? So
yeah.
that's an important step to take when you want to identify some of these red flags. You know, uh, for the Ponzi scheme, you can ask a lot of questions. I mean,
You don't even need to ask a lot of
where does
questions.
this? I mean, where
When
does
they
this?
start telling you you have to refer people to earn money or you earn money through referring people, just know that's your red flag.
Yes,
Don't even
and
ask any
the thing
question.
is,
That's your red flag.
if it's too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah, it's probably trash.
Where does this company get the money to pay the investors this fantastic
Yeah,
rates
I
or
remember
returns
like
that they are
last
promising?
last 2 months on TikTok, there was this like whole ass dragging of like a babe because she was promoting Forex. Forex might not necessarily be a bad thing. It works for some people,
Yeah.
but the way a lot of people make money off Forex in Nigeria is through teaching people,
Okay.
not like
Wow.
not through the
The
actual
actual
forex,
forex.
and they don't
Okay.
tell you that. So I think that's like,
Hmm.
and if that's like an example of what like Favor is saying,
It's
that you
im-
should ask a lot of questions,
it's
because
important.
forex is actually a very legit way to make money, but you need to understand it very very
It's
well.
important.
But in this Nigeria,
Yeah.
they will just they'll tell you, oh, you make mad money,
Hmm.
plenty money, see my account, I'm making mad money.
Hmm.
But the truth of the matter is that money they are taking from you for them to teach you that is
Yes.
giving them their bastard money.
I
Not
mean,
that.
I'll count myself very lucky. I was almost a victim for this kind of fraud. Somebody introduced me to this Forex Academy,
Hmm,
where they will sell you a course,
yeah.
and then it was very, very, it was sounding very good to be true. They were asking for about 250,000 naira to
Wow.
be paid, and then they will provide me with the course. And at the end of the course, I'll be making nothing. Imagine, I'll be making nothing less than
And
five
to be very
thousand US
honest,
dollars. Can
forex
you imagine?
forex is not a scam. Like I'll tell
So,
people, but you need like extensive training and deep understanding of forex. But
yes,
people use forex as an avenue to scam people because they
yes, to
take your
commit
money
fraud.
and they just
Yes,
copy and paste from ChatGPT and sell those to you. Do you understand? So
yes.
that's like an example of what people are saying about, oh, you need to ask all the important questions. But the ones I would say go and be referring and be doing it, run
Can
away.
you imagine?
Run away.
Yes, we
So
listen.
because I really don't want this to pass like 30 minutes because I'm very sure you will not just you will not reach this 30 minutes. Okay, so Favor, what do these people do when they're a victim? Me, oh, let me tell you my story. Last year when I was serving, I I fell victim. You know this posting, pay for posting, post me
Mm,
to Lagos.
mm,
I
mm.
fell victim to scam.
They
They
want
scammed me, you guys. They scammed me. And the first thing I did when I fell victim was just to cry. When I finished crying, I was looking for how I'll get posted to like another place and another
mm,
plug.
mm.
So if you're like me, maybe you should cry first before you look for family. But if you're like,
So,
if
so
you're not
I,
like me,
I would
let's hear
actually
what Favor has to
I
say.
would actually advise against crying, because you just beat yourself up for nothing. It's very, very important for you to act very quickly. Act very quickly to assess the full damage. Scammers nowadays, they hope it takes long for you to even realize that you are being scammed. The longer you stay without reporting the crime, the more they can steal, and the harder it will be for you to recover from your loss. So as soon as you realize that you have been targeted, or that you have been scammed, or you have been swindled, there are many adjectives you can use to describe it.
Yeah.
As soon as you realize that you have been targeted, you
Yes.
can start checking for and documenting the damage. Take note of everything that occurred from the beginning to the point where you realized that you have been
You've been
duped.
scammed.
Gather as much information
And
about,
evidence.
yes, and evidence
If it's like all
as
these card
you have
scams, I
gotten.
know like banks do like cashback, but you need
Yes,
to have like
it
extensive
documents,
evidence
yes,
that
document
you
your
were
transaction
scammed.
details, the transactions and everything that occurred right up until the point where you realized that you have been scammed or you have become a victim of fraud. The next step I would advise is that you report the incident immediately. Do not waste time. Report the incident immediately. The longer you wait, the longer
Right?
the sooner the criminal gets away with whatever he or she has done. You can contact your bank or your financial institution as soon as possible. Many banks in Nigeria, they have a dedicated fraud desk.
Yeah.
I don't think everybody knows this. They have a desk dedicated for fraud. So as soon as you discover you've been swindled
Scammed.
or scammed,
I know, like, I'm
there's
not trying to promote OP here because I know a lot of people have like their reservations about OP and how it's local and how they might be scammers. But there was a time somebody took money out of my OP card
yes.
and I like opened the card dispute and they
Mm.
returned my money back to me after like 14 days.
Oh wow.
So that's
Okay.
like one bank I know that you don't even need to enter the office or go to the office. You talk to the customer care and
Yeah, and all
you get
that
your money back.
happened because you were very prompt, like you acted very quickly, and then it was resolved on
Yeah.
time. So that's an important note to take. Always act quickly, act on time, and then report, speak out. They say a closed mouth,
Sorosuke.
so so they have this dedicated fraud desk, that is at individuals in the bank that will attend to you on things related to fraud. You can also file a complaint with EFCC, or the Nigerian Police Force. Uh, I know many people will have their reservation about EFCC, but believe it or not, that's what they are established to do.
Yeah.
Financial crimes. You have been scammed of your money. It's an institution whereby you can file a complaint, not just the police. So make sure you report timely, you act quickly to get all your facts and evidences right. And then another thing is for you to be aware of follow-up scams. Watch out if you have reported a scam.
It's true. Once you've seen that you've been scammed once, you're
Very
most likely to
alert.
be scammed
Yes,
again.
that's when
Do you
many people are
understand?
more vulnerable
Yes.
because you can be approached by another person claiming to be
Yeah.
someone that wants to help
So
you.
you need to be
You need
aware
to be alert
and
and beware of follow-up scams.
so like I think that's all you have to know about fraud as a whole and things to do, what not to do, how to act and things you should look out for. We really appreciate those that stayed till the end of this podcast, and we hope to bring more sessions like this to enlighten you about topics like this. Thank you very much. And for more information,
You can visit our
okay,
website
for more information, you can visit our website. What's our website?
secureedge.com.ng.
It's not secure
Watch.
technologies. Okay, secureedge.com.ng. Sorry, I'm not the best employee here. So, thank you very much for listening in. We really, really appreciate, and we might see you next week. Depends on favor. We might see you next week. Thank you so much, and goodbye.